Hey there, it's Jackie Reeves with Rekindle You, and today we've got another great workout for you. You'll want to make sure that if you're using weights, you may want different weights, different levels of dumbbells. That's because with your deadlift, you can do it without weights, absolutely, but if you're going with weights and you've done deadlifts before, you may want a heavier set of weights. So I brought up my heavier set for that. The wall sit is without weight, of course. Then the Arnold Press, that's a movement like this. It works the shoulders really well. And so if you're using heavy weights for your deadlift, you won't want that same level for the Arnold Press. You want to go a little lighter. Front raise, if you're using weights at all, you'll definitely want lighter weight because you're lifting up in front of you. And then the other two are body weight ones, and we'll have some options for everything. As always, if I present options and there's not one that feels really good to you, then just touch base with me, shoot me a message, leave a comment. And I'm actually planning to make some options videos for you soon to give you like a really big list of options, since sometimes in the videos I don't have time to go through all the possible options that are floating up there in my head. But without further ado, let's start rotating our wrists. Starting to warm up, as you know, we'll do like a 10 to 15 minute warm up. And then we'll work through the exercises, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. And they're kind of paired up. So do deadlift wall sit before we move on to that pairing, do it twice and so forth. But we do the whole thing twice through. So you get a good chance to really master things and try out different options. And then we'll finish off with a full cool down as well, so that by the time you're done, you'll have that like high of feeling good that you were active with your body, but you won't be sore. Perfect. All right, let's get back to the mat. See some nice fall colors out our window. The trees are in full colorway these days. All right, land those hands beneath your shoulders, knees beneath hips, tucked or untucked toes, your call. And tip your tailbone up towards the sky, sink the belly, lift the heart as you inhale. To exhale, round the tailbone underneath, hide your tail between your legs, around the spine, chin to chest, exhale. Tipping the tailbone first if you can, try to make a chain reaction, leading from the base of your spine all the way up to the top. And flow through with the rhythm of your own breath. Maybe your flow is a little bit quicker, maybe it's slower. Mine differs day to day, so it makes sense that yours does too. Maybe you got extra movements. Got a lot of stiffness in my shoulders, like this stuff. Adding some fluidity feels really good. Couple more rounds. And then find a nice, stable, neutral back. So your tailbone is neither tipped up nor tipped down. Pardon me, those people will see if that's off my mat here. But you'll want to root down. I like to tuck my toes for this part because you have a little extra stability. I also like to re-examine my hands, make sure they're suction cupped. So lift your right leg out long behind you, and then make sure that you're not popped up. Round the front leg down, so it's shining down at the mat. And then rotate your ankle, bone is lifted, that right foot. Just like you did with your wrist at the very beginning. Point and flex your foot. And practice letting your neck be long and drawing your torso up and in. We're not sucking in, so to speak. It's more just using our abdominals to contain rather than push out. Right? Everybody has something that hangs here. That's the nature of gravity. But we want to help contain it in a container rather than like kind of push it out. Right? Okay. Flex the toes back towards the nose, and then allow the leg to drift over behind the left, landing down off the mat to the other side. Breathe in, imagine growing the length of your spine, really get long. And then as you exhale, turn your gaze around your left shoulder. See if you can see your right toes off the mat over there. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But the intention's there. Unwind, both knees on the mat. And then I like to wag my tail afterwards. So rock my hips side to side. Maybe come up on fists for your hands. Maybe you like to come up all the way. Maybe your wrists just want that break. Or maybe your wrists don't mind and you're still doing your thing. You pick. Okay, find that nice stance again. Root down. This time we're getting ready to lift the left leg up. Make sure it's not popped up so you can see two sides of my bum. And then so you only see one possible. And then rotate the ankle. Nice long neck as we do so. Keeping stability through the hands, the elbows. Notice your hands get kind of lazy. Sometimes my one hand will kind of curl up, maybe a bit too big. Flex the toes, really press it through the heel, and then drift across, land the left foot down off the right side of the mat. Breathe in for length, exhale, round the shoulder, gazing back. Oh, realizing I still have a band-aid on my heel from the other day. A little blister protection. And unwind. And shake up hips, me too. I certainly do. Front fists or hands are coming up. Maybe you give your glutes a little punch, lift them up in a gentle way, in a nice way. All right, reaching the hands forward, walking them forward, preparing for your first downward dog. So tucking the toes underneath, lifting the hips up and back. Bending the knees generously, walking out your dogs, pedaling the feet, bending into one and then next. Nodding the head yes. Shaking it no, nice and gentle. I often have a lot of tension up there in my shoulders and upper traps. You need to be gentle about that. Bend those knees as much as you like and stretch out your spine. So we're not worrying about whether your heels touch the floor, don't care. We want to stretch out your spine. Instead of going to Canadian Tire and buying those expensive, kind of flip yourself upside down apparatuses, we're doing the work here. Lovely. Bend the knees generously, and you can walk your feet up towards your hands this time. Yes, and mixing it up. And you can forward fold if you need to. Add your hands to your hips. You need to move things out of the way to help with the fold. That's fine. Bend your knees as much as you like. Even maybe your chest rests on your thigh. And then just release your neck and shoulders. We're going to move into a halfway lift. Yes, I'm mixing it up some more here. All right, float your hands up on your shins or your thighs, coming up to a flat back. And see if you can really press through your feet and feel some lengthening through your hamstrings. See if you can forward fold again. Come back to that halfway lift. We're waking up your hamstrings a little bit. We'll do it again later with the 10 soldiers. Release, back up to halfway lift. Release to forward fold, and this time root down through your feet and rise all the way up. Sweep your arms nice and big if you like. And you can draw your hands to heart center, going from yoga if you like, or however you like to draw your hands back. Give your body a little shake. If you feel dizzy at all, sometimes we do, especially if it's first thing in the morning, take a break, hold on to something. Totally fine to feel that at times, especially if you've just gotten up, or you're short on sleep or high on stress. Next up, we'll start waking up our feet, so rocking up onto our toes, and back on our heels, bending the knees generously, back and forth like you're on a rocking horse. Woo. If you need the assistance of a wall or a chair, that's totally fine. As you can see, I have a lot of windows around me, so I have a lot of options. But you are quite welcome to make use of something. And then find your feet underneath you and begin to march. Nice high knee march. Knees run up all the way towards the chest. Letting the hands lie loose or track your legs, or you can incorporate them into the march. And then cross body march. Knee comes at the opposite elbow. Resisting the urge to say the same things I say every time, but accuse me, and I find myself in the same spot. Okay. That's where I say this thing, so I'll try not to do it every time. Don't want to be a broken record here. All right, wide-legged march, knee comes out. To matching elbow. You decide how far the hips open. So your wide leg march might look a little bit like this, or it's just out in front, or you might really open your hip and draw it out to the side. Your call, see what feels right for your body. For me, when I go outside, I feel more in the inner hip crease. So I'm waking those hip flexors a little bit more and the outsides. But sometimes my hips are too fatigued at the work. We did a lot of those. Okay, next up, we'll warm up with some squats. So let's just do a little squat lesson quickly with you. You want to line up so your ankles are reasonably beneath your knees. I know that they're not going to be right on top because then you're doing a squat like this, and that's really hard. You can walk them in a little bit, but do try to make sure that as your knees bend, they track over your toes, so they're not tracking inward. I don't know if you can see, but we don't want this sort of an action happening, okay? So setting yourself up for that. I like mine a little wider, so I have a little more space for my hips. It's gonna depend on your comfort level and how your legs are set up for your body. But essentially, I like to sit up as tall as I can, but I do recognize that I'm gonna have to bend at the hips a little bit. For me, I can't stay perfectly upright for a really good squat, because what happens is my tailbone pops out, my arch my back, and it goes to a low back. And that's not helping anyone, right? So you do you, pay attention to your body, and begin to lower down, pressing your knees outward. Remember, we're not going to break any records here with lowest squat as we warm up. Maybe, I don't know, I remember when I was going through my training for a personal trainer, being, I say chirped at about not going low enough. And to that I say, you know what, I'm still strengthening my legs. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm still strengthening. Yes, some people will do a squat all the way down, even further than that maybe, and that's fine. But for me, it starts to do weird things with my hips, and then I lose some of the strengthening. So you listen to your body, notice where you start to feel weak in the hips, the knees, and stop before you get there. Maybe there'll come a time when you can strengthen that part, and we can wait till that day. All right, give it a little shake, let it out of there. We're gonna move up to the top of our body and go down again a little bit. So looking up with your chin now, soft knees for you, and down. Up, and down, up, and down. Recenter the head, and looking left, and right, left, and right, left, and right. I'm a little tight in the shoulder, so I'm helping hold the muscles there to let a bit of a release happen. Okay, starting looking over to the left, now roll down and up to the right, and down and back. Remember, we're looking to stretch it out, so if you feel tension as you do it, maybe back off a little bit. We're looking for mobility here, not to break any flexibility records with your neck. And return to center. If you want, you can do ear to shoulder a little bit. This is one I don't do a lot of because I have so much tension, I find it uncomfortable. So just go as far as you need, and if this is a stretch that is really, really valuable for you, then you can certainly do more of it. When you're ready to pause and start to roll the shoulders back. Circles of them. And you can choose how you do this. Maybe you do both shoulders at once, maybe one at a time. Maybe you have some mobility trouble in one of your shoulders. So you can only do the one, do that. Point is, we're looking to sort of massage our upper traps a little bit where available. Find some mobility with shoulders. Pause, reverse direction, up and over forwards. Lovely. All right, release. Nice and tall here, whether you're sitting or standing, whatever you're doing with your body, arms out to the side as much as you can, or you can always rest your hand back on your shoulders if you need to. And moving just the upper body side to side, keeping the lower body as still as we can. This movement might be really big or it might be teeny tiny, but the intention is there. And we're sort of massaging the quadratus lumborum, those lower back muscles there. Speeding up if you like. Excellent. And then pausing, and we're going to be tipping over to the side and holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Reaching across the body now. Right arm reaches across over to the, that's my left actually, sorry, over to the right side of the body. And if you're standing, you turn out the toe, you can feel a stretch maybe in the back of that leg. Nice flat back for 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping the head down towards the toes. Pausing and holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Return toes to center, forward fold in the middle. Using your hands to move your belly if you need to. Bend the knees generously if you like. And hold, releasing shoulders and neck. And then pressing into the feet, rising all the way up. Opening the arms and taking back over. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Right hand reaches across the body to the left. Find a flat back, maybe turning it with your toe if you're on your feet. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Down to the toe, head and shoulders. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Toes return to center. Forward fold in the middle. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise all the way up. Open the arms and repeat a little quicker. For 3, 2, 1. Flat back. 3, 2, 1. Toe. 3, 2, 1. Middle. 3, 2, 1. Rise up. Other side. 3, 2, 1. Flat back. 3, 2, 1. Toe. 3, 2, 1. Middle. 3, 2, 1. Rise up. Open the arms and windmill yourself all the way around. Retracing your steps and back again. Modifying any movements you need to. If I modify out of downgrade, I just need to change them so that it works for you. Arms stretch out in front, around the spine. Open up nice and wide. Hands drawn in front, round the spine. Open up wide, lift the chest. One more. Arms together in front and open up. You're going to kick your feet up if you can. See if you can lengthen your hamstrings. These are those tin soldiers, your zombie kicks I mentioned when you're doing the halfway lifts. Helping those hamstrings come to life. All right, once you've done enough of those, if you're joining me in lunging to wake up the hip flexors, do so. Come on up to the top of your mat. Root down to the left, but step back with the right. Find that lunge position. Rework the hips, right? So draw the right hip forward, left hip back, so we're nice and even with the top of your mat. Bend deeply into left knee and right. Nice and tall. And gently press forward. Feeling that little tug in the hip crease of the right side. Maybe a gentle bounce side to side. Find circles beneath you. And then step forward to match your feet. Give a little shake. Root down to the right. Step back, left foot. Reorganize the hips. Right hip draws back, left hip draws forward. Sitting up nice and tall as you bend more deeply into the right and left knees. And begin to rock forward and back. Little bounce here and there. Circles. All the movements. Step forward to match. If you're joining for hip rotations, drawing the knee up and over, letting the movement come from the hip. Forward direction of the hip rotation, 3 per side. And pause and reverse the direction. Up and over, going backwards. Excellent. I'm going to take a sip of water. Feel free to do the same. Starting into our explanations. So this morning, the first one there is deadlift. Option number 1 is no weights. For that one, I would put the hands behind the head if you're able to, or on the shoulders. And you're going to do what we call good mornings. We did these just last week. You're going to have your feet about hip distance apart, softness in the knees. You'll hinge at the waist to find a flat back. And then press into your feet. You won't hear them. You'll feel your hamstrings engage. And then press up to stand. There's your deadlift without weights. If you're adding weights, you can choose whatever your weight. I have a variety out here, whatever weight you choose. With deadlifts, you can often go heavier than you could for like biceps curls. So you can go with a heavier one. We're gonna hold them 2 hands. Find that same stance. For this one, really important to keep your dumbbells really close to your body. Notice how it looks like, well, actually they are. My hands are rubbing on my thighs. You can see it, okay? So nice, soft like that. Shoulders back and down. Draw the core and protect that low back. Hinge of the hips, just like we did for the good mornings without weights. Rolling the weights down in front of the shins. Find the flat back. Press into the feet. Rise up. Same thing, I'll do one more. So lowering down to the flat back, where we would be at the halfway lift and warm up. And press back up. There's your deadlift. If you like, there's always an option to do a single leg deadlift as well. That one, I like to hold one dumbbell end to end usually. You'll balance on one foot. It's a bit of a balancing feat to keep softness in the standing knee. Hips are even, toe is flexed to the floating foot. Coming down, finding that flat back, press into the standing foot, rise up. Hold it one more time. There you go. If you're doing single leg deadlifts, do the whole first set on one leg and then switch for the second set and so forth. After that, you're into your wall sit. I'll demo that as we go, but basically you want to have a nice sitting position, and always better to have your toes a little out in front than tucked in behind. You know, this shape for bending is not good for your knees. Better to have them out slightly as you sit. And I'll show you on the wall. Okay, let's get started. I have a 10-second countdown to get back to my mat. You're going to go ahead and get set up for your deadlift. I'm the one who will scramble, so I will start working with you in 10 seconds, and we'll do 45 seconds of deadlifts, the option that you've chosen. Here we go. Nice stance. Draw the core in, shoulders back, and hinging at the waist. Find your flat back, press into the feet, rise up. I like to inhale as I lower, exhale as I rise up. Totally fine to make your exhales audible so we can all hear them. You can hear mine after all. Remember to keep the weights really close if you're using weights. Wherever you are, really important to engage that core, draw the belly button into the spine. Not because we're trying to suck in or show off or create a flat stomach. It's about supporting the low back. Doesn't matter how it looks. It's about how it feels. Low back pain sucks, don't do it. Okay, onto the wall sit. So setting your weights down gently out of the way. Finding a piece of wall. I have this little tiny bit between my ribs here. Finding yourself into a seated position. So aiming to have your thighs as parallel with the floor as you can. And then just keep your hands off your thighs. Don't add extra pressure. See if you can sit up nice and tall. Maybe tap your big toes a little bit. Root down through your feet. You're gonna feel it really working hard in the thighs. If you need a break while you're doing this, feel free to release for a second, get back into it, do what you need to do. 45 seconds is long enough that you can really, it's a nice challenge if you're doing the whole thing, or if you need to take a break, it still gives you lots of time to do the work while also incorporating the breaks. It's hard for me to see the timer, but I think we have less than 10 seconds left. Keep in with it as best you can. Following along with your own goals. Beautiful. Coming out of it, give those legs a shake. Set yourself up for your second set of deadlifts, however you're doing them, whether they're with weights or without, or single leg, or whether you're doing both legs at the same time. Contain the core, shoulders back, soft knees. Here we go. Down to flat back, press up, strong. Inhale, lower. Exhale, the lift. Really important that you keep softness in the knees so we're not locking them out. Weights stay really close to the body. I always think I'm going to scrape my shins on the dumbbells. Nice and strong. Taking breaks when you need to, or going through if you have the stamina right now. Excellent. Setting those aside. Setting yourself up for your wall sit, and then we're going to move on to do some arm stuff. Finding your wall sit position. Remember, better to have your feet a little further out than to have your toes kind of tucked under you. Try and get your legs as parallel to the floor as you can. And then with your hands, I mean, you could literally twiddle your thumbs. Maybe you have a partner, you can do like hand clapping games we did when we were kids. You make faces at me, whatever you like. Breathing through it. Resisting the temptation to hold your breath. Holding your breath's not going to make the time go quicker. Maybe you practice your times tables in your head. I used to do that when I was waiting for my daughter to fall asleep when she was a tiny infant. I would stay in the room until I did all the times tables 1 through 12. And then I would creep out. It was always upsetting though if I had to go it through more than once. All right, you're free of your wall sit. Keep your legs in good shape. We have a 60-second, 30-second rest here. Like 30 seconds. Okay, our next one's going to be Arnold Press. This one, if you're not using weights, you're going to find your position, nice strong stance. And you're going to start with your fingers facing in, knuckles out, elbows close to shoulder height. And you're rotating up and press out, and then pull down, rotate back. Let the rotation come from the shoulders. If you're adding weights, I would start lower first as you get the movement down. It's the same sort of thing, knuckles out. Really drawing in through the core, supporting the low back, and feeling the rotation coming from behind your back, the back of your shoulders, not the top of your shoulders. Really let it come from the back. Because there's so much rotation, this one I like to use a lower weight. If you've been weight training all the way through the year, maybe not such a big deal, but I took the summer off weight training. And so I definitely want a lower weight for this. All right, after this, we're on the front raise. So you're gonna go down to an even lighter weight if you're using weights. Or maybe you won't use weights at all, same thing. If you don't use weights, just do it without weights in your hands. Strong stance, support the core. You may lift your hands up to about shoulder height, and then slowly drawing them back down. Resist the urge to round your shoulders, right? Keep your shoulders supported. Let the core do the work so the low back doesn't get called in to take over. Keep those knees soft, supporting you underneath. Inhaling to lift, exhaling as you lower, maybe slowing it down as you lower, moving through molasses. I'm going to rotate, just so I'm not turning my head to look at timers and at you. Excellent. A few more seconds left, maybe time for one more rep. Okay, back to the Arnold Press. So choose whether you're using weights or not. Select your weight size. Get yourself set up in a strong stance. Remember, you want your weights up, above the head, elbows close to shoulder height, and lots of rotation through the shoulders. I can feel already it's a mistake to go up with weights this morning for me. I'm going to switch back to the smaller ones. I might go without even. We'll see. That rotation is so nice for the shoulders. If you don't have any sort of shoulder injuries that prevent you from doing it. Yeah, it's a no weight one for me today. There we go. So I always keep my hands flat and open as I do it. Oh, feels good. Think of being even to both sides if you're doing both at the same time. You can do this unilaterally, so it's just one arm doing it at the same time, but we didn't go through that. Okay, front raise again. I'm going to downgrade my weights a little further even. This one. Setting up. Here we go. Raising in front. Back down. Supporting the body with soft knees. Strong core. Very nice. I say that because as if I can see you. Oh dear. I'm assuming you're doing it very nicely right now. Please do it very nicely. Up to the shoulders and back down. Pausing where you need to. Never being afraid to go without the weights or to switch. There we go. Okay. Another longer break for us now. So you take a sip of water, do what you need to do. We're moving on to some body stuff now. So the next one is YWTI. It is designed to be done on your belly, laying down on the floor. But you can do it with just your arms. So I'm going to show you. You're making a Y and then a W, palm space the face with your face. T, palm space down. And then I, like you're clapping your head. The Y is just an open eye. W, T, and then I. And if you can, do it down on your belly, lifting your feet up, reaching long like a Superman. But now we're doing Y, W's, T's, and I's. And as you fly through the air to the ground. Looking for length here rather than lift, so that we don't crunch the low back. Breathing through. Great for shoulder mobility once again, as we're turning the hand, we're moving the arms. Okay, the next one is plank reach. So this may be a plank for you, it may be a plank reach for you, you can decide. So going from your knees or your toes, elbows or from your palms, find your plank, wherever it is, and then if you feel up to it, then you can create a reach out of it as well. Remember that as you reach, you might want a wider stance with your knees or feet, so you have more stability. Again, so many options here in terms of going from toes or knees, elbows, or from palms. Thinking about drawing the belly in, containing the core, rather than pressing it out. Right? Sometimes I need a bit of a reminder of that, so I feel my abdominal muscles wrapping around all the stuff in the belly. It's gonna be a little harder. It's gonna seem harder if you have more stuff, but the principle is the same. You're drawing everything up into your core to support it rather than press it out. Okay, YWTI, once again, you can do it standing or kneeling or sitting or on your belly. I'm gonna do it on my belly this time. All right, reaching nice and long, spelling out your letters. Remembering that for your Y, it's just an open eye. W, the palms face the same direction your face is. For the T, your palms are facing down towards toes, and then flip your hands again, find the eye. If you're on your belly, point your toes, or you can flex your feet. I mean, really whatever you like, just reaching long. I like the idea of pointing the toes a little bit better for my body, but experiment with yours. Take a break if you need it all, lowering one ear, or lowering your forehead on the stacked hands. All right, pressing up and out, but finding your plank again, and deciding whether you'll reach or not. Maybe you'll reach, maybe you won't. Totally fine. I'm gonna go from, I'm gonna do a high plank this time from knees. So this time, hands are beneath shoulders. Thinking about that wide stance. A little bit harder when you're up here at this angle to do it. Trying to think of the best ways I can give you advice on how to do these things. Sometimes I have to do them to really feel it. You're gonna definitely have some rocking if you're going from high plank. If you're doing high plank, keep your hands more central underneath your face. So that way you have more stability as you lift. Contain the core, protect the low back. Excellent. Okay. Whew. We're gonna have to do some shoulder mobility stuff after all this shoulder work. My goodness. Okay. We're moving back to the top of the list, so back to the deadlift. So you're either doing without weights, or you've got your weights involved. Either way works well. We've got about 10 seconds left on the clock. So getting yourself set up now. If you're grabbing weights, get them now. Getting ready here, strong stance, shoulders back, core contained, weights stay really close to the legs if you're using weights. And drawing up. Nice strong hamstrings, pressing the bum out as you lower, flat back, back up. Not going any lower than the flat back. Flat back to your limit. Resisting the urge to do a pelvic pop at the top, so we're not going to like thrust our hips forward. We're not looking for that. This nice smooth movement. Nice long neck. Okay, over to your wall. Find your wall sit. Another option would be that if you're doing a lot of these exercises seated, you could do a seated march. So I'm not going to get this, not if you're doing a wall sit. I know I'm demoing it that way. If I was sitting somewhere, you can lift doing a seated march. That's what an alternative could be there. All right, remember we're not pressing our hands onto our lap. Maybe we're twiddling our thumbs. Whatever we'll do, twirl some macrame. Count how many spider plant babies you have growing if you have a jungle like I do. That sort of thing, but not pressing on there. Maybe you tap your big toes, really rooting down through your footprint. Breathing it out, trusting that we're almost there, that you can take breaks whenever you need to. And then come out, give your legs a shake. Last set of deadlifts, whether you're doing single leg, double leg, weight, no weight, whatever the option is you've chosen. Getting set up for it. Strong stance, soft knees, shoulders back, core drawn up and in, and weight stay close to the legs if you're using them. Down to the flat back and back up again. You might feel your glutes working too. That's okay. They're best friends with your hamstrings, they work together. We talked about this as being a targeted workout for your hamstring, that movement. It involves your glutes too, don't worry. All right, last wall sit for today. Let's do a big day plan of wall sits. If you're having your Thanksgiving dinner and you run out of chairs, well, I should hope not. All right. Looking to keep your legs as parallel, the upper leg as parallel to the floor as you can. Sitting in your wall sit, or if you're seated on a chair, marching while you sit. Maybe tapping those big toes. How are those times tables coming? Breathing deeply, maybe. So you can release some tension in your shoulders or your jaw. All right, come on out of your wall sit. Give your legs a nice shake. You're getting ready for your Arnold Press. Remember that rotational movement with or without weights. I think I'm going to reach for a small weight again. Getting set up in your strong stance. Elbows up around shoulder height, palms facing forward, facing towards you. Knuckles are out. Rotating from the shoulders, pressing up. Really strong against the shoulders without rolling them forward. Just feeling some real power. Picture yourself with like big, strong back muscles as if you fly with wings on your back all the time. Let the movement come from those bigger muscle groups rather than from the elbows. Less than 10 seconds remain. Breathing it out. All right, getting set for your front raise now. Getting congested, my apologies for the nasally voice. I'm huffing and puffing here. Notice your feet again, notice the knees, check the hips, low back, core, shoulders, and front raise. Lifting up to a shoulder height. It looks higher on camera because my camera's lower than my body is. So it looks like I'm flinging them up near my head. I'm not. They are only going up to my shoulder. I'll try to show you from the side. Shoulder and down. See? So don't try to mimic me and fling them up over your head. I'm not. They're just going my shoulder and back. Check those alignment cues, right? Shoulders over hips, hips roughly over knees and ankles. Everybody's supporting one another. We're not crunching low backs. Time for one more, maybe. Okay. On to your Arnold Press again. I'm actually going down weight again, knowing that my arms get so tired from me doing those stretch exercises back to back. This is something to keep in mind as you do movement practice. So your body's going to get tired, and that's okay. And we don't want to injure it, and so we just change what we're doing a little bit so that we don't cause injury or over fatigue ourselves. Either way, no matter whether you're using weights or not, or you've gone down or up, we're still practicing the same movements, the same alignment. And I can tell you these are 2-pound weights. And I used to use 15s for this years ago. You know what? I'm just as tired now as I was back then. And it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't. The movement is so powerful for the body. I still feel that same good warmth in my shoulders, and not in like a bad way. It's that warm feeling of feeling the muscles work so that they build stronger muscles to help support me. Helps my posture. There you go, and lower. And for me, posture has become what's really important rather than a number that I can lift. Because I've found that as I'm working more in my nutrition practice, I'm sitting at a desk where I'm typing more chart notes and my posture suffers. Whereas I took a long break from doing that sort of like typing work all the time. And my desk isn't ergonomically set up. And so a lot of shoulder pain and stress. And so these exercises, when I listen to my body, they help support it. So that I get less shoulder pain, and so I'm less likely to slouch and reach and do strange things. So hopefully it's helpful for you too. All right, we're all done with those arm movements. We're down to our last 2 exercises. We'll do them twice through, and then we'll move into our cool down. So YWTIs, and then plank, reach, or just plank. Remember how to do your Ys, palms facing in towards each other. Palms face the same way as your nose is for your W. Palms down towards toes for T. And then like a big clap for I that you just open again for your Y. So doing it kneeling or down on your belly. I'll do it kneeling this time just to mix things up. See if you can keep the order the same as we get tired. It gets a little harder, and it's different than YMCA, which is, I think, ingrained in many runs. So if you are on your belly, remember that we're not looking to arch the back extra. So we're not looking for maximum lift through the upper body. We're looking more for the lengthening of the spine. So if you think of being long rather than floating up, that may help. And stretch the feet out really long. I like to plant my toes, as I told you, so I can really reach for the wall behind my toes. If you like, you can flex your feet. Just be careful your knees. My knees get cranked. All right, plank or plank reach is next. So remember all the options that we have. I think I've done from my elbows and my hands to knees. I'm going to try to go for my toes now. So remember that if you're doing the reaching part, you're going to want to keep the stability part of your upper body more to the center, meaning to your face. And you might want to widen your stance with your feet. If you've got your legs extended, you're going from toes, then just make sure you keep a softness in your knees. And then you can reach forward on whatever count you want. Like maybe you do like 2 reaches through the whole thing. Maybe you're doing a reach every few seconds. If you're fully extended and you're finding it too much work, like I am today, come to your your knees. And if you need a break at some point, take a break. I'd rather you do that than start to crunch and do weird things with your low back. I'm showing really bad positioning here. Okay, so draw in the core. Find that position that challenges you, but not too much, and keep going. If planks haven't been in your repertoire ever or for a while, 45 seconds feels like an eternity. So do it for like 5 or 10 seconds at a time. Take breaks, then you'll get multiple reps in that 45-second time gap. The timer is there to support us so that we all are doing this basically together instead of counting out reps. But by no means does it mean that you are expected to do 45 seconds of the work. There's a space of 45 seconds for your work, and that's where you do the work that you're doing. If you do it for 45 seconds, cool. 10 seconds, great. Makes no difference to me. Maybe you're on your belly, Maybe you're sitting or kneeling or standing with me. Either way, we're doing what we can. Again, if you've got one arm that needs to rest, you do it with the other one. It's just harder to remember how to spell, but it works the same. Okay, on to our last plank. So I'm going to try a high plank from my toes and see how far I go this time. Remembering that there's always options and always opportunity to change what we're doing. Some people are going to differ. I generally find that high plank is easier than low plank for me, but the knees and toes things changes it up. So, notice in your body, maybe you like low plank better. I don't know. Maybe I'll transition through them all this 45-second work time. Maybe that's what you choose to do. As long as you can do whatever you're doing safely so that you're treating your body with respect and kindness. Okay, we're done the work part. It's gonna blast in 30 seconds, celebrating that we've done it. In the meantime, you may want to take child's pose. I like to take a wide-legged child's pose. Knees are wide, toes are glued together, pressing the bum towards the heels. I like to reach my hands up over top. But you may choose to stack your hands and rest your head on them, or you might loop your arms back behind you from around your shoulders. Do you? Hang with that. That's a celebration. So do some child's pose for a minute, or your variation thereof. I'll let you know when I'm moving on. Press yourself up, find your tabletop position, and work in to your cat-cows. Follow along with your breath. Excuse me for a minute, I'm just gonna check my phone. One of my kids is at a sleepover, and I just wanna make sure that I'm not getting texts from a parent here. Make sure everything's okay. Oh, turns out it's my dog. My dog's on the road. Okay, continue on. And once you've done all of that, then begin to walk your hand that way, tuck your toes, press your hips up and back into your downward dog. Pedal out your dog. Bend your knees generously, nod your head yes. Shake it no. Take your hands a little wider if you like, so your knees a little deeper with your hands. Bend those knees, stretch out the spine. Find that length. And then if you want to stretch out your calves a little bit, start to lower your heels towards the floor. My heels aren't going to reach the floor, but setting that intention and pressing them towards stretches out my calf muscles. And if you've ever spoken to me before or done one of these workouts, you know that my calf muscles are notoriously tight. So here we go. This is us stretching my calves, doing a little bit of work to look after them. Breathing it out. And I say that a lot, not simply because I rely on my breath to help me relax through these stretches and through the movements. It's my anchor. It's my reminder that I am safe and strong. It's also like my metronome, so I know when things are too much. All right, bend the knees, walk your feet up towards your head. Getting as close as you like, and then find your forward fold. Again, using your hands if you need to, if you like to. And then let yourself fold. Pressing your bum up towards the sky, softening the knees. I can feel a stretch here actually in the backs of my legs at the tops of my hamstrings. If you're game, slide up to a halfway lift. Pressing the bum out, finding a flat back, rooting down through the feet. Maybe you feel some sensation in the back of your leg and your hamstrings. I do. And forward fold, again, using your hands. Belly can rest on the thighs. Root down through the feet and begin to lift yourself up all the way up. Stand coming up however you like. Maybe you roll up, maybe you sweep up. Maybe like, oh, dog is back, good. When you get to the top, I like to interlace my hands a little bit. I guess clasp my hands. I'm gonna reach up and over to the side, kind of making a banana shape. Stretching through the side body. This one does not have to be a super long stretch. To the other side now. Coming back up to straighten. Awesome. Let's do a bit of hip flexor work. So it's coming up to the top of your mat, rooting out to your left foot. Step back with your right, you can lower down to your knees, you're kneeling. I like to walk my front foot out a little further than my left foot. So I can lean forward into it a bit, pressing my hip crease forward a bit. And then reach up nice and tall. You can lift your arm. I'm so tempted. You can see me like, oh, I'm used to reaching up with this arm. You don't have to, but you can. Or we're looking to stretch out some of the hip flexor. You may not feel it right in the front the way you do when we warm it up. It's kind of a deeper sort of stretch, like in a place you can't get to with your hands. You can try kind of clenching this bum cheek, tightening it, see if that pulls on the hip flexor muscles a little more. Hold this position. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab something to demo something. Okay, if you have yoga blocks available, maybe you pause and go grab them now too, or if you have blocks or books or whatever. I'm just going to show you this. So we've been in this position. Now what I would like to do is kind of inch, I'm just going to so you can see it, inch this foot up onto its heel and draw my hips even. So what I mean is I'm going to draw my left hip back with my hip and draw my right hip forward a bit and sit my bum down a little bit. I like the blocks because it gives me something to use instead of the floor. And this is just, for me, a really nice stretch up into the top of my hamstring. Might be different for you. And you can, the nice thing about yoga blocks is that you can use them on all different heights. They're also great for building chain reaction sequences with your children or grandkids or neighbors or friends. With dominoes and balls and things that do all sorts of things. I often have to hunt for my yoga blocks. That's the moral of that story. They're often being used for phone cities. All right. The way I like to find this is to just bend that front knee and draw my foot back so that it can root down on the floor again. And then finding your way up however you like. So for me, I'm going to tuck my toe and just kind of rise up, do a lunge, and step forward. Maybe that's possible for you, maybe it isn't. But do your way of resetting yourself. We're going to come up, stand, step back with the left foot this time, lower the left knee. I like to inch that front foot forward, leaning forward into that hip joint a little bit, and find that hip flexor stretch. Pausing here. Maybe reaching for some water. Follows here. Not only am I congested, but I can feel like the itchiness and the root of my mouth too. Makes me extra thirsty. All right, once you've done about 30 seconds or so of that stretch, and remember you can always put a blanket on your knee to be extra nice to it. You can sit back, lift this front foot back up on its heel. Acting like we're going to straighten this leg. We call these half splits sometimes in yoga. You might need to change your stance a bit. That's totally fine. And then even at the hips. So draw your right hip back, left hip forward. This stretch has a ton of sensation for me. It's one of those like feels so good, hurts so bad stretches. But be really careful not to like push it too far. So just be mindful of that. Notice how hinged you like to be or how straight up you like to be. Like maybe you like to be really straight up. I like to hinge. I like the sensation that I get when I do it. Play around and notice. Keep some softness in those knees. And that risk of getting over straightened, and we don't want that. And then when you're satisfied with the stretch, again, you can return the foot. You can press up like I did before. If you want to come to kneeling, maybe that's an easier transition. Likely it is. Sometimes my brain doesn't work as quickly. Okay, so we've done all that stuff. Let's get into our glute stretches now. So come on down. If you like figure four, I've shown you a lot. I'm going to do a modified figure four. I'm going to do a zigzag or a modified pigeon. If you like figure four, that's the one on your back where you put your ankle across your knee. I'll just show you quickly. This one, right? Staying planted or lifting, that's figure four. Go ahead and do that. Or if you want another option, I'll walk you through from kneeling. So for this one, you can go from all fours and draw. I like to draw my right knee back, left knee forward, and then roll down onto my left hip. I've kind of got my legs sort of splayed here. They're kind of all over the mat. And so I like to sort of find like a right angle with my left knee that's in front. And then kind of find one with my right leg behind me. I've got this kind of like whoop, whoop, kind of thing going on. And then I like to fold over my front knee. So there is a twist happening, right? You can see that this would naturally be the way I'd be. So I inhale, exhale, twist, and then lean over that left knee. And I get a nice glute stretch. You can see how this feels for you. Maybe it works really well. Maybe like figure four. Take your pick wherever you are. Let's hang out for at least 30 seconds. If you're in figure four, you can slowly release and set yourself back up to the switch side. If you're in modified pigeon or full pigeon, to press yourself up and out of it. If you are doing this modified pigeon like I am, there's a trick here for switching sides. You can keep standing your hands back behind you and lean back and sort of windshield with your legs to the other side. Ta-da! And you're already pretty much set. Only a couple changes need to be made if needed at all. If you're in figure four, go ahead and windshield up your legs before you set up to the outside. Do as you wish. Let's all start to get into position now. Coming down. Remember, this side may feel quite a bit different. That's normal and okay. Mine sure does. I'll time out at least 30 seconds for us before we move on. Start to gently release your way out of the stretch. We can all meet to windshield wipes because that just feels awesome. So wherever you are laying down, or if you're kickstand hands on your bum, let's windshield wipe side to side. Massage those hip joints. I love this feeling. Hopefully you do too. Okay. Let's start ourselves up in a seated position. I know we're getting close to time. I might go over a little bit today. Setting up nice and tall on your sits bones, feet together, knees out wide. Inhale and then hinge at the waist, drawing your heart closer to your feet as you exhale. Start to hinge back up, sitting up nice and tall. Close your knees like a book. And if you have a strap handy, reach for it now. Starting your hands a little wider than shoulder width apart, so you don't want them so close. You can always slide them out as we go. We're going to do some shoulder rotations with the strap, flossing your shoulders, some call it. I like to inhale as I rise up. Exhale as I lower down. And you can lower down, like you can go up in front and then back behind if that feels okay for you. Or you may opt to have it just go up and down in front of you. Either way is fine. Just find some movement in those shoulders again. Lovely. All right, a little bit of neck work before we go. Tilting the head from side to side, ever so gently. Centering the head and rotating left and right. You're doing a little head shake, rolling the shoulders. And then giving yourself a gentle massage too. Squeezing out the back of your neck, even up towards the occipital bones. There we go. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always a joy to work out with you in the live stream and on the replay. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Take care.